Hey sports fans, welcome to the Cavalier Sports Report. I'm your host, Shawn Simpson. And joining me today in the studio is sophomore midfielder Sydney Alexander from our ladies Cavalier soccer team. Sydney, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm so happy to have you here. So you are having a great year on the field, and being a sophomore, I know that you're coming into a completely different experience than you have in your freshman year. Every time we have an athlete in, we always hear about what a difference it is. So just talk a little bit about the experience of being a sophomore and a leader on the team as compared to your freshman year.
I really think that people, well, the freshmen in particular, just look at you more so for advice. Because I remember last year being a freshman, I strictly just looked up to the sophomores because they've been through the process and classes and on the team, so they knew what they were doing. So if I had any questions, I would go to them. So I think as being a sophomore, we all just had to be prepared for that so we could give the best advice that we could.
And from your freshman year to your sophomore year, what was one of the biggest lessons that you learned about the life of being a collegiate athlete versus being a high school athlete?
For me personally, it's time management is a big thing that I had to figure out. Just trying to manage and balance classes with traveling and playing. Just because, you get tired mentally, physically, and you just have to make sure that you continue to go to class and play well. So it's just managing your time as well as you can.
Now, we know that Coach Schwab is tough. We know he's a big, tough guy. He's loud. He's very demanding on the team. How much pressure does he put on you guys to perform not only on the field, but with your academics and with your just overall, with your lives?
He has high expectations for everyone. He holds everyone accountable equally, and you just have to make sure that you don't prove him wrong, and you make sure you put in the work that he expects, because he knows that we can all do it. So he just wants to make sure that we all know also.
So coming in, it's, you were recruited, you were brought here because you knew you could play, but it's a matter of just making sure that you live up to his expectations.
Yes, that is correct. Everyone, I think, knows. I know everyone knows his expectations, and along with the other coaches. And I would say we all hold pretty high expectations for each other also.
Now, talk a little bit about the competition that you guys have had so far this year. You guys are off to a great start with an 11-1 record, but a lot of times a win-loss record doesn't necessarily tell the whole story of the adversity that you may have faced as a team. Just talk a little bit about kind of the ebb and flow of how the season has been so far.
The majority of our team is new, so there's not that many sophomores who were here last year. So there's a lot of new faces that, we had to meet and get to know well, because a big part of playing well is the chemistry on the team and how comfortable you are with one another and the trust that we have with each other. So I think that a major part in doing well and seeing results is having a bond with each other that makes those results happen, because if you don't have the good bond with everyone, then it won't happen. So
what do you guys as a team do to foster those bonds besides a lot of practice on the field?
We have team dinners usually before games, and we all just get together and eat and talk and hang out. And like yesterday, a bunch of us went to the Royals game. And it's just extra stuff outside of soccer, practice and games, and just getting together and, even if it's just hanging out, it's still being around each other. So
teammates and friends.
Yes.
Okay, so just turning this back to you personally a little bit. At some point, it's being a 2-year school, the turnover rate is very short. You're a freshman, then you're a sophomore, and then you're transitioning out. What do you see as the next step for you when you hang up your number 5 jersey?
I definitely want to go on and play. I'm not sure where yet, but I think that it'll all fall into place as it's supposed to, and I don't know if I want to go out of state yet, but I definitely want to go on and play. I'm not 100% sure where yet, though.
Okay, so one question that I would ask that for any high performing athlete, and especially is doing as well as you are, is besides wanting to win and besides wanting to have success on the field, what else motivates you to go out and work so hard out on the soccer field?
I think that behind closed doors, a lot of people don't see the work that's put in every day, all day, just because, I mean, it differs from person to person, but work's put in outside of practice in the games that, I mean, it's hard and it takes a lot to just do it. So I think that motivates me and everyone else to go out there and perform, just because you know how much work and time you've put in to doing what you like to do, which is obviously play soccer. So.
And you've been playing soccer your whole life?
Yes, a long time.
Yeah. So last question is one that I ask pretty much everybody who sits in that seat, and that is, how do you get yourself up and motivated and pumped to go out and play?
I think it depends on the game and it depends on the day. It's not really a routine that I have. I just really mentally try and prepare myself to the best that I can and just focus on what I need to do and what we all need to do as a team. And I think that you can't just prepare yourself that one day. I think it takes, that whole week of practice or the day before of practice to really start preparing yourself so that you can go out there and perform well.
Well, Sydney, it's been great having you.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck this weekend against Neosho. Hope you
Thank
guys
you.
Come back with another Lady Cavaliers win for the women's soccer team. You guys will do great.
Thank you.
So that's it for today, and on behalf of the whole JCAV team, this has been the Cavalier Sports Report. I'm your host, Shawn Simpson.